Okay.
Take a good look at this face. Now, look a little closer. This is a woman who's just heard something she needed to hear, something she completely agrees with. Without saying a word, her expression explains exactly why she cannot, under any circumstances, celebrate a certain player, no matter how positively that player impacts the WNBA. This expression is just a snippet of an interview full of tension. The conflict? It wasn't with the podcasters. I'll get to that soon. On a day that should have been a momentous celebration for the WNBA, Cheryl Swoopes was showing her Caitlyn Clark disdain once again. In a recent interview, you've got to see how she responded when asked about Caitlyn's big day one that was arguably the most significant for Caitlyn, her fans, and the WNBA as a whole. I'm breaking it all down, because this interview really shows Cheryl's true feelings, and it's clear that the Caitlyn hate is not going anywhere anytime soon. Here's what happened. Caitlyn Clark was named Time Athlete of the Year, becoming the first WNBA player to earn this prestigious honor. This should have been a moment to celebrate, right? A landmark achievement, a huge PR opportunity for the WNBA, with its star front and center. Caitlyn was being celebrated for her impact on the league's growth. And this came right on the heels of Caitlyn being named to the Forbes 30 Under 30 list, another excellent PR boost for both her and the WNBA. The league is enjoying unprecedented attention, record attendance, viewership, and merchandise sales. It's estimated that Caitlyn accounts for nearly 27% of the WNBA's economic activity. One player, nearly a quarter of the league's revenue. That's mind-blowing. 2024 has been a banner year for the WNBA. Everything's trending up, right? Well, so is Cheryl Swoopes' blood pressure, but it's not from celebrating Caitlyn. Every time Caitlyn Clark gets an award...
Cheryl, I'll start with you. What's your reaction to Caitlyn Clark winning Time Magazine Athlete of the Year?
I don't think I'm surprised.
Award, a compliment, or does anything positive, Cheryl's reaction is the same. And Caitlyn being named Time Athlete of the Year was no different. Cheryl appeared on the Gil's
I'm curious to know who the other candidates were.
Arena podcast when the news broke, and when asked for her instant reaction, she didn't hold back. No filter, no time to think. Her response was honest and revealing. So, who's this new Cheryl 2.0? Is she about to congratulate Caitlyn Clark for once? Grab your popcorn, because here it comes, and less time than it takes Angel Reese to miss a layup and grab her own rebound. Cheryl wanted to know who Caitlyn was up against. This is a key moment, and I'll explain why.
My question is, like the criteria, is it based off of her performance on the court, which, yeah, she had a great year, or is it more about the impact that she had on the game this season?
Why in a minute. To Cheryl's credit, she did mention how special it was for a WNBA player to win Time Athlete of the Year. Everyone with a pulse knows how great this is for the league, the game, and the young girls who'll be inspired by this award. This kind of PR keeps the momentum going and benefits all players, from sponsorships to pay to recognition. But, in typical Cheryl fashion, she quickly undid anything resembling praise. And there it is. Cheryl is challenging the award itself, questioning what it values. She asks, was it given to the best player, or just the most popular one? She's strongly implying that Caitlyn Clark isn't the best.
But Cheryl, when you hear that, thoughts on Caitlyn Clark saying she wants to use her platform to elevate black women in the WNBA have been instrumental, obviously, in building that league to what it is.
You're goddamn right.
Player in the league. It doesn't matter that Caitlyn was Rookie of the Year, set the single-season assist record, broke the points record for a guard, was fourth in MVP voting, and led her underperforming team to the playoffs all in her first season. Yeah, that was impressive, but Cheryl seems to believe someone more deserving was passed over in favor of Caitlyn's popularity. Cheryl's response to Caitlyn's comments about her privilege really drives this point home, and it's something you've got to see. See that nod? That's it right there. That's her Heisenberg moment. She clearly agrees with Caitlyn's statement that players who built the league should be the ones celebrated, not Caitlyn. Guess who one of those players is? This explains everything. Cheryl can't accept that after nearly 3 decades in the game, it's Caitlyn who's bringing the fans and media attention. She can't handle that Caitlyn has elevated the WNBA to mainstream status. But to feel that way is to dismiss Caitlyn's achievements, which have been instrumental in the league's growth. Caitlyn Clark's rise to fame isn't just about her popularity. She set the NCAA
probably LeBron from his Olympics plus,
all-time scoring record, hit logo 3-pointers and buzzer beaters, and led her team to 2 consecutive
from the season Olympics.
Put Asia Wilson in there.
Championship games. She then carried that momentum into the WNBA, continuing to prove herself despite doubters, haters, and even an Olympic snub. As the season went on, her impact only grew. But for Cheryl Swoopes, none of this matters. Cheryl, a Hall of Famer who inspired the players that ultimately inspired Caitlyn, isn't content with Caitlyn getting all the credit for transforming the league. Cheryl clearly believes that Caitlyn's recognition is overshadowing the contributions of others, and she seems to think Caitlyn's success is fueled by privilege rather than merit. When Cheryl nods in approval of Caitlyn's stats, it's likely a nod to players like Asia Wilson, who she feels deserve more recognition. Cheryl's attempt to bring Asia into the conversation suggests she doesn't think Caitlyn is worthy of the accolades, implying the award should have gone to the MVP. Now, don't get me wrong, Asia is amazing. She's a champion, an MVP, and was statistically dominant last season. Her impact on the game and the league is undeniable. The WNBA needs stars like Asia to keep the product competitive and exciting, and she's certainly one of the brightest. Cheryl likely thinks Caitlyn's success is at Asia's expense, arguing that Caitlyn's treatment is unfair. But let's be real, Caitlyn's achievements are entirely deserved. She's only 22, and her body of work speaks volumes. From breaking college records to hitting clutch buzzer beaters, Caitlyn's performances have earned the respect and hype she's receiving. She carried that momentum into the WNBA, leading the league in assists and averaging over 23 points per game after the Olympic break. That's MVP-level production. Her first year in the WNBA was a historic one, and she's only getting better. It's clear that Caitlyn's future in the league is incredibly bright, and her rivalry with Angel Reese will only grow more compelling as the seasons pass. Despite the noise from critics and even some players, Caitlyn's rise shows no signs of slowing down. She could win 5 championships, 7 MVPs, and break every record, and there would still be people trying to find flaws in her game. The criticisms will only become more absurd as she continues to prove herself. At the end of the day, Caitlyn's accomplishments speak for themselves. She's raising the profile of women's basketball and elevating the WNBA to new heights. Remember how I said Cheryl's in conflict? The truth is, as much as it pains her, Cheryl knows Caitlyn is good for the game. Caitlyn accounted for 26.5% of the WNBA's economic activity in her first season, and her games attracted 45% of the league's total viewership. She's filling arenas with 15,000-plus fans, and 1 in 6 tickets sold is directly tied to Caitlyn. The fans have spoken with their time, attention, and wallets, and no amount of hate can take away